I mean, I never saw my, I literally put this thing on and I was like, how do I look? You have no idea. I'd never seen anyone in it. You know what I mean? So it was like this crazy, the first time I saw the movie was the first time I saw myself in the suit.
Greetings, creeps. We are talking Five Nights at Freddy's and what I like to call 5 minutes with Matthew Lillard, that is. We got more than 5 minutes, but it's just catchier, I
It's
guess.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's right.
It's all about how you position it. Well played,
Exactly.
Angel. Well played.
So were you a fan of the game before you got into this? Have you played the game? Were you aware of the game?
Yeah, I was kind of aware of it. I mean, my kids played, but I'm a big video game guy, but I never played it before. And then when I got this call from my manager saying, go meet this director, Emma Tammy, who's the director of the movie. And if you guys get along well, they're going to make you an offer. And I was like, generally in my life, whenever I have that opportunity, it usually means the movie's pretty crappy. Right? I mean, it's big movies like that sort of I always have to fight for. And so I was like, whatever, yeah, I'm happy to go meet her. And I read the movie, and the night before in the meeting I read the movie, and the movie was great, except for I was like, I didn't have a lot of part. I mean, it was like Yellow Rabbit is the character, and it was at the end of the movie. And so I sat down with Emma and I'm like, why me? There's not a lot to do here. And she explained, and the reason I think I ended up doing it was that this character is like the Voldemort character in Harry Potter, and that he is the center of evil in the universe. And to me, I thought that was really exciting, that they were planning on sort of a bigger universe, planning on 3 movies, which as an actor, obviously that's exciting.
Mhm.
And the fact that I would get to play something over time, and assuming that they greenlight another movie, or we don't know that they are or not, but um was really, was really exciting. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in a big movie. And then I came home and I was explaining to my wife the meeting, and then my kid Ace, they came in the room and like, did you say Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm like, yes. And they're like, oh my God. And then my son came downstairs and he was like, oh my God, what? And so they lost their minds. And my middle kid Ace said to me, hey Dad, they sat me down and like, Dad, you don't understand how big this is. And so it was in that moment I was like, okay, I think I should probably deeply consider. It wasn't until after I got the movie that I started to play. And in talking to Scott, he was like, just focus on the first 3 games.
Mhm.
He sent me a bunch of playthroughs, which I watched religiously. So it was great. It was a sort of that's how I got into the world.
I kind of love that the kids were the sort of like career counselors on this when they're like, Dad, this is a yes, this is a
It's,
definite yes.
yeah, and even then, I was like, great, my kids are happy, but that doesn't mean anything. It's not until, I do conventions a lot, and my line went from like, 3 hours to 6 hours. And you look out and you see all these kids in cosplay, and you see a Foxy and a, Springtrap, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be really big.
So that's something I wanted to ask you about. You are definitely a fan favorite at conventions. You never have a short line. I've never met you because your line is always like just wrapped around. So I have yet to meet you in person.
So
But
crazy.
I feel like I recently chatted with Freddie Prinze Jr. and he's done, I know what you did last summer, right? But he said like the bulk of people that come up to him and stop him are Scooby-Doo fans. So I
Yeah.
feel like, do you have more Scooby-Doo fans or Scream fans, or is it equal?
It's funny is in my life, I sort of have given up trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right? You know, I've been around so long. Same with Freddie. Freddie's been around a long time as well. And you don't know how people find you or why they find you. You don't know why a movie means something to them and why something, lands and something doesn't. And so I certainly have my fair share of Scream fans. I have my fair of Scooby-Doo fans, SLC Punk fans. Five Nights now is huge. But you get these people come up to me like, my dad and I used to watch Summer Catch. You've got these like sort of like beautiful little stories that are born out of movies, and movies are such an integral part of people's lives. I no longer wonder how or why. I'm just grateful that people care still.
Amazing. I'm kind of wondering, I'm very curious to see your line next time I'm at a convention that you're at, because
Oh,
I'm very curious to see if there's more like Five Nights at Freddy's cosplays than there are like, Shaggy cosplays or something.
yeah. The funny thing is that I think both. I don't think that there's not a lot of fan bases that equal the FNAF fan base, right? The passion that they have, the way they feel and care deeply about this game and the lore of the world is sort of unparalleled. It's like a Star Trekky, or like somebody who's passionate about Star Wars. It's like, and I think that they come out, and when they come out dressed up. They come out cosplayed. They come out with their Springtrap bobbleheads, and so it's there's probably gonna be a lot of that right now.
Yeah, they go hard for it for sure.
Hard.
So one of the most exciting things for me was kind of those giant, wonderful suits. And they're not just giant, wonderful suits. They're created by the Jim Henson Company, which to me is mind-blowing growing up with stuff like Sesame Street and Labyrinth and all of that. And you get to wear one of those. What was that like? What was that experience like?
Yeah, it's funny. It was really oddly exciting. I just said to Emma, if we get the chance to ever do one of these again, I want to go down and work with like in a dance studio. And one of the things I did for Shaggy is I had to figure out how he moves, right? And so I went and hired like, a friend of mine, and we broke down how it physically moves and how, like, what are the pieces, and how do you represent that? And if we get a chance to do, if we're lucky enough to do another Five Nights, I want to go put that thing on and figure out how to move, because in shooting the movie, the first time I put the mask on is when they called action. It was like the first time I got a chance to
Oh,
move.
wow.
So you're learning sort of on the spot. And so the idea of being able to play with it a little more and understand how it works a little more
Mhm.
and to see myself, I mean, I never saw I literally put this thing on and I was like, how do I look? You have no idea. I'd never seen anyone in it. You know what I mean? So it was like this crazy, the first time I saw the movie was the first time I saw myself in the suit.
Oh, damn. I was picturing you like practicing at it and getting the movement and,
Yeah, I think that we probably should have done that. We just didn't. The reality is that those, there's the amount of manpower that goes into making sure that those are all firing on all cylinders, the amount of time and energy that team puts in. I had two people that were puppeteers that worked with me, Andrea and Jack. So they were we worked as a team, getting that thing on, getting the thing off, like making sure it wasn't falling apart in between scenes. So it's definitely informs performance. I think it informs in a different way. It adds this richness to it that, you're chasing Piper, you're chasing your daughter, you're fighting Josh, like all these things are in real life, as Foxy's moving at you. It's all pretty, it informs you as an actor, which is exciting. It's different than just pretending to run from a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Or having your best friend being Scooby-Doo, which is never there. Having physical elements there makes your performance that much, sort of more, I don't know, more.
Well, it's like you're like walking into the game essentially. It's completely
Yeah.
brought to life, and you're not having to imagine that you have these things standing in front of you
Yeah.
and interacting with you, which is like
And
wild.
menacing over you and
Yeah.
moving towards you. It gives you so much to work with.
Mhm.
It just informs everything.
So would you like to do more suit work then, if you're able to like kind of put it on and move in practice and kind of see what that looks like?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in acting class, they have these thing called mask exercises, and you put on these different masks and it informs you. And I have to say, I said it after I got off the phone. I got on the phone with my wife after the work, and I was like, it was so fun because I had no idea what was coming, but I knew, like, as you put that thing on, as you start to move in space, it informs everything about you
Mhm.
as an actor. And so I never did anything like that. And so for me, it was really it was a fun exploration. And each take doing something different and finding different ways to menace. And I don't know, it was really cool. As an actor, it was an exciting challenge I hadn't had before in a very long career. And so it'd be hopefully we get a chance to do it again and we'll get to do more of it.
I feel like you're gonna get to do more of these. You guys have broken like every record that exists.
From
It's
your
like,
lips to God's ears.
yeah. You're slated to do like 3 of them. They're gonna be like, no, give us 20 more of these. Like, keep them coming.
I'm available. I'm ready.
We love it. Yeah, that's wild. It's like it's Blumhouse's like highest grossing ever, and it's like the highest grossing horror movie of the year. So it's just like across the board. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's a testament to like you guys made a movie that the fans really enjoyed. And I feel like that's always the gamble with something like this, right? When it has a fanatic fan base, you're like, we hope we're doing right by the fans.
Yeah. I listen, I have to say that um to everyone's credit on the powers that be, from Jason to Scott to Emma, I think the only thing they really cared about is making sure the fans were happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you see that very often. I think that most horror movies would have been more gory. Most horror movies probably would have been shorter. But they were like, no, we're going to translate what we know the game to be into a movie that people have been waiting for 8 years. And so, to their credit, I think they did an incredible job, as evident by not only the box office, but the scores afterwards, the fans' response, my response with fans when I meet them on the street. I think that people are ecstatic. And I think all the credit goes to Emma and to Scott and to Jason for making that movie.
Yes, well done, all of you, the whole team, for giving a shit about the fans, really, because like you said, it's not always about that. It should be, but it's not always, unfortunately.
No, they try. I mean, listen, they go for what's called 4 quadrants, men and women, age this to this, and that's everyone. They were like, no, we don't care about 4 quadrant. We are going to make a movie for this fan base. And, the question was, is it 1 million people who are really loud, or is it 100 million people that are voracious and, and passionate? And turns out it's the latter of the two. Right?
Yeah.
That the worldwide phenomenon that is Five Nights at Freddy's is based on a community that is deeply passionate about this game. And, frankly, it's just a privilege to be a part of.
I love that. If you had to engage in hand-to-hand combat with like Freddy or one of the gang, who would you choose?
I would not choose Foxy. Chica. Probably Chica.
Chica?
Yeah.
Why Chica?
Or
feel like
Cupcake. Cupcake's so small.
Oh, yeah.
You really feel like you could punt Cupcake.
I think that works to Cupcake's advantage, though. I think people underestimate Cupcake because then it like latches on and is like eating your face or something. You know what I mean?
It's pretty badass. Cupcake's pretty badass. I'm not gonna lie. Don't mistake the pink for like anything else other than savage.
Exactly. Well, Matthew, I know we're out of time. I'm so happy to see you doing more horror. Would love to see you doing more of it. You've got a rabid fan base yourself. So
yeah, can I just real quick, can I do one shill?
Please, yes.
My job today is to do one thing, and I want to be invited back. We have a Blu-ray coming out and a DVD coming out that are really awesome. Added scenes. If you're a fan or if somebody in your life that is a fan of the movie, this is an awesome holiday present. It comes out today. That's my job. I have to say those things, and so I've done.
We got a lot of cool bonus features. So for those rabid fans, it's a good purchase because there's a lot of cool stuff to watch.
Cool stuff, right? It's cool stuff. And if you want to find the Easter eggs, you got to slow it down and watch it twice.
Yes, there you go.